So on this Thursday, June 20th, in the early morning hours, we had a report, or there was a report overnight that Iran had shot down a Navy drone in the U.S., and so it created more strength in the oil market than it did weakness in the S&Ps. In fact, the S&Ps were strong coming into today. They were 25 points above yesterday's high and 30-some points above yesterday's close. So it had a pretty bullish tilt, and then the market didn't rally right after the open, actually broke and was playing around. Here's where it was right before the Trump tweet, and there was a Trump tweet that said pretty plainly that that Iran made a big mistake, and that's why it continues to be important to follow him on Twitter, because this came out just about 15 minutes after 9 Central. Iran made a very big mistake, to quote him exactly. We were already a little bearish with this long up bar, down bar, all right? And then I'm going to play this through, and the comment comes across verbally on the squawk, and then they post it at 9:15. So they chop around a little bit. About 30 seconds after it really hit the wires, did we begin to go lower. What I said it was, I don't know how bearish this is, but it's certainly not bullish. And that's important to exit long trades if you're long, to get into a short trade if you're already bearish. These are your win moments. This is taking some news that could have a bearish effect. It's certainly not a bullish development, because any kind of confrontation militarily with Iran would be knee-jerk bearish for stocks and bullish for bonds. So you need to understand that. So right in here, we get this news, and you could see that the market pretty much hovers and then is one directional. Even as we speak now, an hour and 15 minutes after this comment, this market into the European cash close is below halfway back, 47.5. But here's some of this downside that gets some legs. So the direction wasn't no coincidence that it continued to the downside, being pushed by that Trump tweet. That's why it's important to make sure you're following him. It has nothing to do with your political preference. That shouldn't matter. You should be able to jump on some of the bullish and bearish tweets that he's had over the last 2.5 years. If you're not, then you're void of a very important tool in your toolbox. Period. And this market continued not only to stay weak from this 58, 59 even area, but it stayed below here. Here we are 12 points even below this area an hour and 15 minutes later. So that's really important to make sure that you guys are on. Here's just a 4 PNF to summarize it. Here's the 9:15 move. It stayed bearish throughout the entire sequence. Right now, the White House is meeting to decide what to do. There could be some more tweets or comments that come out of that people have to be aware of, because it could create even upside. If they sidestep it, it's going to be hard to think that there's going to be bullish comments that come out of it. So it'll be interesting, and it's crept in as one of the drivers to the market, right? The Fed has been a driver. The U.S.-China trade deal has been a driver. Now the whole Iranian confrontation is a driver. Really important when you're trading these markets to prepare and review. Where you see the weakness, this is not a coincidence that this market got weak in here and stayed weak on these pullbacks that were met with selling and kept making lower lows in this entire sequence since 9:15 Central.